We the people. 3 words that remind us that our inalienable rights are not a grant from government, but they are a gift from God.
There is absolutely no question that we are in a battle for the heart and soul of our nation. But one thing you've never had to wonder since sending me to Washington, D.C. is whether or not I'm going to be in the fight for you. You've never had to wonder if I'm going to sell out my soul to Washington, D.C., and you've never had to wonder if I'm going to forget who I'm fighting for.
Our first responsibility in representing you in government is to keep you free.
Whether it's pushing back on a woke and a weaponized government.
No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children.
This is not what parents want. This is an ideology that we will continue to oppose.
Or the ever-expanding control of a federal government that needs to be reined in.
There is waste, fraud, and abuse throughout this whole thing. This is one more reason why we've got to give oversight to the executive branch.
Or whether it's fighting this administration's push to open our borders.
The border has got to be top priority.
Texas Congressman Michael Cloud is leading the charge.
We're doing everything we can to push back.
For the Biden administration to come out and say that they think that they're suddenly supporting law and order in this country is almost laughable at this moment. We can't keep track of who's coming across our border.
Working to reform how Congress works for you.
I came here to change the status quo. This was about restoring the proper powers of the membership of the body. We went back to Jefferson's plan instead of Pelosi's plan.
I serve now on the Appropriations Committee and on the Oversight Committee, and that's a unique 1-2 punch to be able to weed out waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption, and do things like defund drag shows on military bases, for example. And
we've really got to bring these agencies in. Not only have they been politicized and weaponized, but they've just been inefficient.
When it comes back to the big issues of the time, of course, the border, number one.
They have been creating a crisis over the past 2 years.
It's chaos down here, and it's all because of what the Biden administration has refused to do.
Which is why I've called for the impeachment of Secretary Mayorkas.
Certainly Mayorkas does deserve to be removed. We've passed laws to fund more security at the border, to more infrastructure at the border. They've canceled the contracts and won't do it. Right now we're paying for border wall to be stored instead of built. Is that correct?
We are.
Yes or no? Are we paying for border wall to be stored?
We are indeed.
Instead of built. Thank you.
Traveling through this process has turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry, a lot of it going through no-bid contracts of political donors to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. A lot of corruption going on here. Thankfully, the House GOP yesterday passed a bill that even strengthens the current law.
Now, I'm reminded of a scripture, of course, that says, don't get weary in well-doing. We will reap a reward if we faint not.
And so, in spite of the challenges we face today, I do believe that our nation's best days are ahead. Today is a wake-up call to the woke. We will not give up our liberties, though you threaten us. We will not cower to your cultural re-engineering, though you belittle us. We will not let you redefine what is good as evil and evil as good. We will not let you guilt us into selling away the birthright of the heritage we have as Americans.
We continue to be a voice for constitutional conservatism. Thank you for the prayers and for the encouragements that you've given us. God bless you.